Okay, then raise your hand. If you don't like sales, raise your hand. Don't be shy. But I want to make all of you liars out here, though, because each and every one of you are good at sales. Now, there's a sales technique for all you executive coaches, marketing coaches, sales coaches out there. There's a specific pattern that we look for when we have to do sales. What's that pattern called? We want people to do this specific pattern when we're talking and doing negotiations. We want them to do this pattern. What's it called? Yes. Yes pattern. We want them to say yes, right? Yes. Why is that? Why do we want them to say yes?
Because it leads them to thinking that they're going to take the action that you're looking for them to do.
Excellent. Thank you, because it's going to help you lead them to take the action you want them to do. Every single one of you have said, created a yes pattern for yourself. Are you with me?
Yeah.
The time that you saw this advertised and you decided to share it, you said yes, right? Say yes. The time you pushed the button, you registered your ticket, you said yes. Say yes. The time when you were preparing to come here and you could have stayed in bed because it's cold and rainy, you said yes, right? Yeah. The time you came here and you ate the food, you talked to the food, you said yes yourself, right? So continue to keep on saying yes. Sell yourself on yourself because you already have. It's only a series of continuing more yeses of yes to yourself. Even when you feel nervous, unsure, uncertain, you don't know what's going to happen. They might laugh at me. I don't know what's going to happen. Keep on saying yes to yourself. You with me? Say yes. Very good. All right, so next week we have here today, we have Dr. Lakita Solomon, who is a licensed clinical social worker, certified emotional intelligence empowerment coach, and trauma specialist. She is the founder of the Elevated Perspectives Consultation Services, providing faith-integrated therapy and transformative coaching. She's the assistant professor in the MSW program at St. Joseph's University. Dr. Solomon is a sought-out after speaker known for her dynamic, faith-centered approach to emotional wellness and personal transformation. Dr. Solomon, would you please join us on stage, please, and give her a round of applause? There we go.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I want to ask you to do something. I want you to look either to your left or to your right and introduce yourself.
Steve, pleasure to meet you, brother. Thank you so much, Steve. I'm Brian Jenkins. Pleasure. Thank you for raising such outstanding
All right,
man.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
And can I be honest with you? Some of us walked in this very room today with a name on your life that you didn't give yourself. This name could have been created through a version of you that you often wanted to forget. It could be your story. It could be a label or a mislabel. Somebody say mislabel.
Mislabel.
And yeah, those type of labels, they come from what you went through. Do I have anybody with me? You know, these are the type of labels that come from what people said and honestly, what life demanded. Somebody say what life demanded. But I want to come to you this morning just to, give you some extra pour. Because if you were here last night, you would have already been poured into. Am I the only one? If we've been poured in through various realms, identity and grief, identity and misalignment, identity and purpose, coming back from adversity. And if you actually paid attention to anything, you didn't just hear information, you received revelation. Somebody say revelation. But now I'm here to just talk to you a few minutes about transformation. Because after everything that you will have heard today, you still have to answer one question. Somebody say, what is that question? Now, you did introduce yourself to somebody, right? I want you to talk to that person again and ask that person. I'm going to feel like I'm in church for a second. Say, neighbor, who told you who you are? Ask them again. Say, neighbor, who told you who you are? Listen, I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me because not every voice that spoke to you, okay, had the authority to define you. Not every situation, not your crisis, not your mislabeling it did not have the authority to define you, because honestly, your identity is not what you say when you feel good. It's what you believe when life hits you. When life. Is anybody besides me, life has been lifing? But I feel like I'm just like the Energizer Bunny. I keep going and going and going. Anybody with me? Even when pressure comes, it's not like you don't rise just because what you've learned. You fall to what you believe. And I'm here to talk to you because some of us, we are still living from a version of ourselves that was built in survival. It was built in a fight mode, a flight mode, a freeze mode, a fawn mode, that mode when that energy, because we didn't have the words to really articulate what we were going through. And so our body just did things in order to create safety. Is anybody with me? And from that, you became strong because you had to, not because you wanted to. You became silent because your voice wasn't safe, or you became guarded because you were hurt. Anybody with me? And let me tell you about that version. That version, yes, it did get you through. It got you through. But hear me. I need to tell you something. It does not get to keep you stuck. Somebody say, I'm not what I had to be to survive. Come on, say it like you mean it. I'm not what I had to be to survive. Because here's the real tension in the room. You know better, but I want to ask you, are you living better? Are you thriving from what you survived? Or are you just sitting there waiting for the next thing to hit? Because let me tell you, it's good to have the knowledge, and I'm telling you, these speakers, they're giving us wisdom. But I want to ask you, if we don't move with the knowledge that we have been given, you will leave in the same place. And it's so important for us to take this and do something with it. So today, I want to close the gap in these last 6 minutes. And I want you to say to the person next to you, because I love for people, I feel like I'm like teaching, like in class. So I'm sorry, y'all just don't have to repeat, okay? I will live what I know. Come on, say it like you mean it. The reason why I'm saying that to you and I'm having you repeat that, because when we're familiar with something, that can feel like our identity, right? Because we become functional in our own dysfunction. And what we feel is function is really dysfunction. And I'm telling you, we live in what's familiar even when it's dysfunction. So you go back to the old patterns, you go back to the old reactions, you go back to everything that really reminded you when you were comfortable. Are y'all with me? And it's not because it's who you are, it's only because it's what you know. And today we want you to journey with us so we can take you to a place where familiarity is no longer your future. Somebody say familiarity is not my future. So I want to talk to you about endurance, because in order for you to take this to the next level, you have to understand this is where most people lose what they learn. We give up somewhere in the middle, because endurance is really not just surviving the hard moment. It's staying committed even after that hard moment passes. And some of us, we get caught up in the valley of the shadow, and we stay there, and we memorialize it, and we continue to walk with the habits and the patterns of yesterday. Because let me tell you, it's easy to shout. It's in a room like this. It's easy to feel energized. It's easy to feel motivated, but it's harder to live it when you get home. Because honestly, when you walk out of these doors, Sister Depression and Brother Oppression will be meeting you there unless you have the tools you need to combat what you're getting ready to deal with it. This is what I'm talking about when nobody sees you, when it's uncomfortable, when it costs you something, because let me tell you, healing will cost you something. And I need you to hear this. If your identity does not have endurance, it's not going to last. I need you to say, I will stay alive. Come on, you need to say it like you mean it. I will stay alive, even when it's hard. Now, I want you to do something for these last couple of minutes with me. I need you to stand up. Because if you can stand, I need you to stand. Because this is not about what you heard. This is about what you're committing to. So I want you to make some declarations before I leave here. I have 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And I'm staying because I want to come back. I want you to look at somebody and say, I'm not what they say. I need you to say it with authority. I'm not what they say. Come on, say, I'm not what I went through. I'm not what I used to be. Now I need you to take this higher. Anybody want to go higher? Because we're defeating some things. We're defeating some bloodline behaviors. We're defeating some generational behaviors. Ooh, look, better calm down. You know what I feel. We're defeating it today. And in order for us to defeat this thing, we better act like we know who we are. Come on, I need you to say, I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand when it's hard. I'm going to stand when it's quiet. I'm going to stand when nobody sees me. Because guess what? I got my vigor back. I got my voice back. I know who I am. I need you to declare it. I know who I am. You need to understand that you have to flip the script. You got to turn the page because there's more to your story. So you got to endure to the end. I need you to look at somebody and say, I'm going to endure this thing. Just stand because now you're standing in a moment. You're standing in a moment of time where you're on the threshold of transformation. And I need you to pause and I need you to breathe in these last 2 minutes. And I need you to say, I'm becoming. I'm becoming. Now, I'm telling you today that identity is not what you say, it's what you repeat, it's what you tolerate, it's what you allow, it's what you go back to. That's your identity. So if you want a new identity, you got to make new decisions. And as I get ready to take my seat, I want you to understand there's some things you need to do. And I got a little prop too. I need you to catch it. When you start slipping into these old patterns, because let me tell you, the enemy wants to wear you out, and he's coming psychologically in this season. He's coming emotionally in this season, and he wants to wear you out. So when you get those fleeting thoughts, catch that in the moment. Come on, let's catch it. Catch it in the atmosphere. Catch it, put it under your feet. Then you need to correct this. This is not who I am no more. You begin to speak and declare, this is not who I am anymore. Come on, let's practice it. This is not who I am anymore. This is not it. I'm not living in tomorrow. I'm not living in the shadow. I understand that I dwell under the shadow. And because I dwell under the shadow, I can walk through the valley of the shadow of death and fear no evil because I got somebody with me. I got my riders with me. I got my support with me. I got somebody with me that's walking with me. Set your boundaries and stay consistent. Let me tell you, you don't need to fight what was said. You don't need to stop living it because everything you heard today, it was not just for your mind, it's for your life. And I need you to tell somebody, I am a survivor. I'm not just surviving my story. Come on, say it. I'm not just surviving my story. I'm becoming beyond it. You know why I'm becoming behind it? Because I'm transformed. And how am I transformed? I'm leaving here. Now I need y'all to walk around in your healing. Walk in your healing. Come on, take some steps. Take some steps. Walk in your healing. Thank you. God bless you.
I got it.
So just we're gonna have a little transition with quick for Shelly, but that image that you felt right there, that vibration, that's your responsibility to keep that alive in you. All right. So here we go. We found the creator of this whole extravaganza.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Another round of applause for Dr. Solomon. That was motivating, right? That was inspirational, right? Understand, motivation will get you moving. Inspiration will get you to change. Now, I understand that we feel empowered. The energy is set in this room, but we need to make sure that what just happened turns into actionable items. I want you to think about something that you are committing to stop after this conference. I want you to think about the one thing that you are committing to starting. One start, one stop. Write it down right now. The reason why it's important for you to write it down right now is because the brain responds differently when we write commitments down. The probability of you actually doing what you commit when you write it down and sign it, the data actually shows and sign it, your brain has a higher level of commitment. One thing you're going to start, one thing you're going to stop. And I want you to go to someone that is completely unfamiliar, because sometimes we get used to lying to ourselves and the people closest to us. But I want you to walk to someone you do not know and share that one start and one stop right now, very quickly. That requires you standing up and going across the room to another table, to a person you don't know. That's you standing up and going to another table, to a person that you do not know. This is how we shift. You are going to share the one thing that you are committing to starting and the one thing you are committing to stopping. Just one. You may have many on your list. One start, one stop. And if you notice that someone didn't move, go to them and share your one start, one stop with them. You got 1 minute. Seconds. One start, one stop. Now, this is how we change. You can make your way back to your seats, but if you haven't done it, I'm going to charge you to do just that. Change is when we are clear and committed to 4 things. Behaviors that you are committing to starting. Behaviors you are committing to stopping. Behaviors you are committed to increasing. And behaviors you are committed to decreasing. That is true change. See, understand this. Healing is a challenge. But I'd like to provide this perspective to you all. To be healthy is hard. And to be unhealthy is hard. To be healed is hard. The healing process is hard, and to not be healed, it is hard. The commitment that we are challenging you to make on this day is to choose the hard that heals and to avoid the hard that harms. This next speaker has committed her life to choosing the hard that heals when she had no support, when she didn't have the certainty and possibly not the clarity, but she kept on getting up. How many Rocky fans do we have in the room? What was your favorite Rocky? What was the best one? Thank you. So let me talk to the boxers over here. Remember Rocky 4, right? So we could have just walked out after Apollo died because I was pretty mad, right? But the story didn't end there. A lot of the times, pain is a comma, not a period. Don't leave the movie theater. There's something more. And so Rocky avenges his best friend's death by fighting this big old man named Drago. And there was a part where they thought he was going to die, just like Apollo. And Drago would punch him, he got knocked out and jumped back up again. And Drago would knock him out and he jumped back up again. And Drago would knock him out and he would jump back up again. His wife couldn't even look. It got to a point where Drago is looking at him like, what is this animal? He keeps on getting up. That's our next speaker.
All right now.
She just celebrated her birthday on yesterday. So I'm going to sing happy birthday to her. And the first time I sing it, only if you know it, join in. And then we're going to add a little soul to it and do it in a different way. So we're going to do it two, one in Spanish, one in English, okay?
All right, hold on. I got the first line.
Feliz, feliz en tu día. Amiguito, que Dios te bendiga. Que reines la paz en tu día. Y que cumplas muchos más. Yeah, I didn't tell you I could sing. I just told you I was going to sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes. Karina Rodriguez. Wait, let me say that right. Karina Rodriguez is the founder of Bold on Purpose. Let me say this. Don't let people mispronounce your name. There is a physiological and neurological response when people say your name. Make them say it right. Is the founder of Bold on Purpose, a purpose-driven platform dedicated to helping individuals realign their identity, purpose, and performance so they can live and lead boldly. Through her signature frameworks, the locked-in method and the identity shift, Karina helps people break free from misalignment, rediscover who they truly are, and step into a life of clarity, healing, and intentional growth. Where are you from? Brooklyn?
Queens, New York.
Born in Queens, New York, and coming to us by way of Orlando, Florida. Please put your hands together for Karina.
Karina, you have to stop talking in class. What's going on? Why can't you get straight A's like your sister? Karina's not that bright, but at least she's pretty. Karina, you have to make sure you can take care of yourself. Don't depend on anybody, especially no man. Okay? You aren't affectionate. I just feel like you don't desire me. Truthfully, I don't think you're the woman I need. These were the things that were said to me or I overheard from childhood to adulthood that created my identity. Has anyone ever told you anything negative that you just it marinated in your head and you started to believe it and operate in that? See, a lot of you guys may be asking, what is a identity? We've been talking about identity, but what is identity? Identity is the version of yourself that you created based on what you were told, based on how you were raised, based on what was projected onto you, or who you thought you had to become in order to survive. You see, my identity caused me to be quiet, but not just in class, but in life. I was told I wasn't smart because I wasn't a straight A student, but I was pretty. So I learned how to show up, but not speak up. I was told, don't depend on anybody. So I didn't. I would handle everything and be exhausted half the time, but I never asked for help, even when I had people willing to help me. In result, I grew resentment for my partners, for the people around me, over a life I created by not speaking up. Because that little girl who learned to stay quiet grew into a woman who didn't know how to use her voice. And for a long time, I didn't have language for it. People would say things to me, and I would just say, huh? That's just who I am. But see, I know better now. So allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Karina Rodriguez, business strategist, entrepreneur, speaker, and founder of Bold on Purpose, a transformational movement designed to help you realign with your identity, your purpose, and performance. See, for a long time, I had self-doubt. I stayed quiet. And that led me to rebuild myself. It led me to some inner work to find my confidence, to redefine who I was, not on fear, but on purpose. I created Bold on Purpose because I know what it feels like to look like you have it all together on the outside and feel completely disaligned in the inside, disconnected, full of ideas and just staying quiet, questioning yourself, shrinking yourselves in areas that you should be speaking up. And finally, when I broke through my identity, everything changed. Everything, the way I showed up, the way I was living. It was like I was meeting myself for the very first time. And in that moment, I remember making a decision. I can't keep this to myself. I would talk to everyone about it. Because if I could feel this free, if I could feel this aligned, I know there are people in this room today that need to feel that too. So my goal today is to help you break through your identity. Now, what I did realize, right, it's changing who I've been for most of my life, and I was almost 40. So was going to pose a challenge, right? So I needed something that created structure, that would hold me accountable when the old me tried to show up. Because breaking through your identity isn't a one-time decision, okay? It's a daily choice. So today, I'm going to walk you through my locked-in journey. All right, and the clicker. No. Okay. All right. So I created the locked-in method out of my personal work that I did, right? So we're going to start with the letter L, look inward. So what I started realizing when I started looking inward, there were some patterns. There were some patterns showing up in my relationships. And there was one common denominator in them all. Me. Yep, me. And what triggered me to look inward was going through a divorce and realizing There's no fixing this. There's no fixing this marriage. It is over. And I had to ask myself, what role did I play in this? What did I contribute or lack thereof, right? And what could I have done different? Because see, the thing is, I don't want to repeat this pattern in the future, right? So ask yourself, what are you truly feeling beneath the surface? Oh, own it. Ooh, this was a good one. I had to stop blaming my past, my upbringing, and my daddy issues, and to take responsibility how I was showing up, right? I was closed off, guarded, unable to receive love. I realized I would just project how I felt by being ruthless with my words because I didn't know how to be vulnerable, okay? I remember a time where my spouse at the time went to look for a job, got this job, and instead of celebrating him, I responded negatively because what I felt and what I didn't communicate was I was scared. I don't know if that's enough money. We were new parents. I said, can that pay all the bills? So based on your behaviors and choices that you've made, what truths are you avoiding? Next letter, C. Cut the identity. I had to let go of that little girl who stayed quiet because she thought, I'm gonna get in trouble. And that woman who believed, I gotta do everything to be worthy. There was a time in my life where my identity showed up in my relationship. I was told, you're not affectionate. I don't feel desired. And instead of speaking up, instead of being vulnerable, I became defensive and shut down. How many of us do that? It's easy. Because the version of me that I created believed that it was safer to stay guarded than to be seen. What version of you are you still holding on to that no longer serves you? Okay, let's go to the next one. Keep choosing you. This one felt selfish because I had to say no to people that I loved to honor myself. And that meant setting boundaries, unlearning people pleasing, and finally using my voice, even when it felt uncomfortable. I remember the first time practicing boundaries, someone in my family asked me to do something, and I said no. And they looked at me like, girl, what? And the truth is, they were so used to me always saying yes at my own expense. So where are you abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable? E, elevate. I had to honor myself. So at this point, I said, every decision I made, does it align with my goal? Does it align with where I'm headed? See, I knew that in order for me to elevate to the next level, I needed to change something. And I started with my mindset. I started changing what I watched. That's where I started, what I listened to, right? Because we watch reality TV and, we start thinking that's real life and so I was like, I want to be super intentional with my goals and what I want to do. And to elevate to the next level, my mindset was the first thing I started with. Where in your life are you still operating out of habit instead of who you're trying to become? Next letter, D, design. This was key because it meant no longer repeating the same patterns and instead becoming intentional about the life that I wanted. So I remember telling myself, if someone watched you every single day, what you do, your habits, what you listen to, will they see a difference? Will they see what you're working on, or will they see the same Karina? My goal was everybody around me to notice that girl is not the same. She's doing something. So I was intentional. This one, identity check. This is a constant because change doesn't happen overnight, right? It's like building a habit. So I had to catch myself. There's times I'll still shrink or stay quiet. Sometimes I'll say, yeah, I'll help, knowing that I didn't want to. So when I first started this journey, I remember dimming my light, I remember not speaking up. I remember getting ready to overextend myself and knowing it was going to stress me out. So I had to take a moment and say, hey, girl, you know you can say no, right? Now this next one, N, next moves matter more than you know. Because transformation isn't built on perfection. It's built through intentional action. And for me, it wasn't a big moment. It was a series of decisions, choosing to speak up, choosing to heal, choosing to stop doing everything on my own. I remember saying, I want to do something that scares me. And this, standing in front of you, that's one of these next moves. Every decision I made to show up differently is what led me here today. No longer living in my identity, but walking into who I was created to be. So I want you to start your identity breakthrough. I don't have that much time, y'all. Please don't. But I want you guys to take out your cell phones and I want you to write down one thing, just one thing that you're going to do different starting today to break through your identity. We got like no seconds, but let's just take out our cell phones. And let's do this, okay? Whether that is setting boundaries, whether that is saying no where you've been saying yes, whether that is speaking up in rooms that you haven't been speaking up on, walking away from something or someone that you've outgrown, or investing in yourself, in your healing, in your growth. Now, I know you guys didn't have that much time, but still write that down. Because that will be your starting point. And you don't have to do this alone. Okay, I'll be at my booth and I would love the opportunity to meet you guys. And I brought the tool that I created through the inner work that I did to help you break through your identity. We also have a raffle, so make sure you enter your raffle. But before I go, when you write that note, I want you guys to read it because that's a decision. It's a choice. The truth is, nothing changes until you do. So you get to choose. Who do you become next? Don't leave here the same. Break through your identity, scan this QR code, and get locked in.
Yeah. Felicidades. Awesome, awesome. I love that. Identity. That makes me think of the phrase that we all say, we hear it all time and time again, fake it until you make it. I never really liked that though. It felt kind of phony. Fake it until you make it. And to me, it creates this whole idea as if somehow the growth process, the journey, the evolution that we're going through is somehow we need to be perfect until we get it. So I can say fake it until you make yourself. It makes me think of a concept. I want to just bear with me here, all right? Because as you're going through the day today, as you're going through this week and you're hearing these great concepts, you're hearing the methods, you're hearing these tools and resources to be able to come into yourself and evolve, it's going to feel awkward. It's not going to feel like you. It's not going to sound like you. You're going to look at yourself in the mirror and say these affirmations. You're going to introduce yourself to someone differently. And it's going to feel weird. That's part of the process. It's not the faking the process. It's just what it is. It's a process. I'm going to give you something because some of you guys aren't really fully with me right now. So I just wanted, let's think of a child, a toddler. Anyone who knows a toddler, you know, about 1 year old, seen one? And they try to walk. Has anyone ever said, toddler, stop faking the walking? You're not walking. You'll never be a runner. You'll never be a climber. Or you would never say, toddler, you're faking. You're a phony. You just let the process play out. So what we all get to do today is embrace that person that's coming into yourself right now and reach those arms. Everyone reach your arms out and stretch out. There's a version of you that's trying to walk to you, that's trying to run to you, that's trying to crawl to you, trying to dance to you. You guys get to allow that process. All right? Oh, this is getting good. So next speaker we have here today, we have the Sean Fair, is the founder of the Leadership Experience Tour, the #1 platform of its kind, aspiring speakers in the United States. As a coveted member of the Forbes Coaching Council, he is a sought-after corporate leadership and management consultant for major corporations across the United States, Canada, and Europe. Sean is also known for his coaching and training services that helps leaders identify their blind spots. Without further ado, please give a roaring applause to Sean Fair.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. How you guys doing today? You guys doing good? Do you guys have a friend that you know that believe they can self-diagnose themselves? You guys got a friend like that? They believe if they just eat the right things, that they'll be mentally okay, they'll be physically okay. Well, I got one of those friends, and I'm gonna tell you a story about my friend. Now, the problem is when you become my friend, you become a part of some of my stories. So just know and understand that. Now, a good friend of mine, his name was Jim. And I've been knowing Jim for a long time. Jim is a fitness coach. You know, this man works out every single day. He's got a lot of clients. He wears jogging suits every single day. He even go to church in a jogging suit. Like, he take his job seriously. He eats all the right foods. He don't put no pollution in his body. He don't take medication because medication is like poison. It's got all these different things that cause all kinds of problems. And so the man is just a bill of health. As a matter of fact, he'll call me up sometime. He'll say, Sean, you need to start eating clean. Now, I don't even know what that meant necessarily, but that's a 2-hour conversation waiting to happen. So I won't even get into it with him because that's all he wants to talk about. The one thing about Jim is that he never gets sick, at least in his mind. But one day he calls me up. He says, Sean, I've been having these massive headaches for the past 3 days, and I don't know what's going on. I say, well, Jim, you know, most normal people, what they do is they go to the pharmacy, they go to CVS, they get some aspirin or something along them lines. Why don't you go try doing that? Well, he don't like going to the pharmacy and he don't take medication. But he goes anyway because his head is hurting just that bad. So he goes to the CVS, he gets some aspirin, he goes back home, he reads the instructions on the bottle, he takes the medication as instructed, and he calls me back 2 days later. He says, Sean, I've been taking the medication just like you said, but my headache has gotten even worse. Raise your hand if you've experienced a migraine before. Well, according to Jim, he has migraine times 3. I said, well, Jim, most normal people, what they normally do around this time is they go to the hospital, they get checked out. Why don't you try doing that? Well, Jim don't like going to the hospital, but he goes anyway because his head is hurting just that bad. So he goes in. You guys know what happens next. They hook you up to the machines, they check your vitals, your heart rate, your blood pressure, all that stuff. They send you to the back. The doctor come in about 2 hours later. You know how they do. The doctor comes in and say, Jim, what brings you in today? He says, Doc, I've been having these massive headaches over the past 5 days. And it's hurting so bad that I can't even do my job. And the doctor said, well, Jim, you are the 5th male that has come in the last 8 months. We diagnosed the first male incorrectly, but now we know exactly what it is. Now, when Jim heard this, he was slightly excited. So, Doc, can you tell me what it is? So doctor gave him the medical terminology for what he was experiencing. Now, I can't pronounce it. It's some long word or whatever. And then Jim says, well, how do we fix it? He says, well, you have to have this procedure. And he gave him the medical terminology for the procedure. I can't pronounce it either, but I can pretty much tell you exactly what it is. In so many words, he says, Jim, in order to fix this situation, we're going to have to remove your man parts, and that's going to relieve some of the pressure that you've been feeling. So when Jim heard this, that didn't quite sound right to him. So he's asking the doctor, what kind of degree do you have? What kind of certifications do you have? And so the doctor further explained all the intricacies behind the surgery. And once Jim heard it, he understood it. He didn't like it, but he understood it. But the one thing that the doctor explained to him, he says, Jim, if you don't do this surgery, this situation gets worse. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some medication that's going to relieve some of the pressure temporarily. I'm going to make some rounds, and when I come back, tell me what your decision is. So the doctor gives him the medication, makes his rounds, and Jim said his head was hurting so bad, he can barely open his eyes. And so when the doctor came back, he says, Doc, I'll have the surgery. So the doctor sends him over to the administration office. The administration office set up his surgery for the following Tuesday at Beaumont Hospital. Well, it's Tuesday. Jim is on the operating table. You guys know what happens next. They put him under the anesthesia. He's out like a lamp. And when he wakes up, guess what happens? No. His headache was gone. He couldn't believe it. And the first person he called was who? Me. And you know what he said to me? He said, Sean, I no longer take life for granted. And now that I feel better, I want to look better. I want to go buy one of those brand new navy blue suits like you be wearing when you get on the stage. And I was just wondering if you can go with me. I got 3 weeks to heal up from the surgery, and then I'm going to the suit store. Now, 3 weeks later, I was going to be in California because I had this big training I had to do. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to be out of the state for a couple weeks, but I want you to go and just get the suit anyway, because you can't keep going to church in a jogging suit. So anyway, 3 weeks passes by. He goes to this suit store and he walks in the door, and you know, you get greeted. And so one of the salespeople comes up and says, hello, my name is so-and-so. What's your name? He says, my name is Jim. He says, what brings you in today? He was like, man, I would like a brand new navy blue suit. I was just wondering if you can help me out. And the salesperson said, I got 7 brand new navy blue suits. You got your name written all over it. What size do you wear? Well, Jim don't know his size. He ain't never worn a suit before. And so Jim says, I was hoping that you can just measure me up. And the salesperson said, that's not a problem. But this particular salesperson, he didn't take out a measuring stick or a measuring tape or anything. He just kind of looked at him like I'm looking at Chris. And he says, you wear a 44 long suit coat. And so the salesperson grabs a 44 long, Jim puts it on, and guess what happens? It was a perfect fit. And Jim was amazed how the man can just look at him and tell what size that he wore. And the salesperson says, Sonny, I've been doing this for 33 years. Now let's get you a nice pair of pants. You know, you got to have a nice pair of pants to match the suit coat. So the salesperson is checking Jim out like I'm checking out Chris. And he says, you're 38 in the waist, you're 32 in the length. He grabs a nice pair of pants, Jim puts it on, and guess what happens? It was a perfect fit. And once again, Jim was amazed how the man can just look at him and tell what size that he wore. And the salesperson said, Sonny, I've been doing this for 33 years. Now, let's get you a nice white shirt. You know, the salespeople, they're always trying to tack on to the sale, you know. And so the salesperson is checking Jim out like I'm checking out Chris. And he says, you're a 16 and a half in the neck, you're about a 34, 35 in the sleeves. He grabs a nice white Italian shirt. Jim puts the shirt on, and guess what happens? It was a perfect fit. And Jim was like, man, do we know each other from a different life or something, man? It's just amazing how you can just look at me and tell me what size that I wear. And the salesperson says, Sonny, I've been doing this for 33 years. Now, let's get you a nice pair of shoes, you know, because the ladies, y'all look at the feet first. If the shoes look cheap, y'all think the suit cheap. That's just how y'all operate. So the salesperson is checking Jim out like I'm checking out Chris. And he says, you wear a size 13. So he grabs a size 13, Jim puts him on, and guess what happens? Man, it was a perfect fit. And the salesperson says, Sonny, I've been doing this for 33 years. Now, let's get you one more thing. You know, he said, as men, you know, we feel better when we have on a nice pair of underwear. So the salesperson is checking Jim out. I ain't checking you out, Chris. And he says, you wear a size 38 in underwear. And then Jim says, you know, I wear a size 32. And the salesperson said, no, you wear a size 38. And Jim says, no, I wear a size 32. And the salesperson says, I've been right this entire time. And then Jim says, I know you've been right this entire time, but I've been wearing underwear all my life. I know what size I wear. Now, they going back and forth in the store. 32, 38, 32, 38, 32, 38. And finally, the salesperson gets upset with him. He says, Jim, you wear a size 38 because when you wear a size 32, it presses your man parts up against your spinal cord to cause you to have these massive headaches. The man didn't need surgery. He needed bigger underwear. Now, the whole point of the story is very simple. The point is this, is that, y'all got it, right? The point is very simple. How many of you understand the problem that you see on the surface, but yet you don't understand the cause as to why the problem actually exists? And then what happens is you start to focus in on the problem without addressing the cause of the problem. And then when you address the problem, it suppresses it for a moment. But because the cause of the problem has never been addressed, it rises back up again. And that's how it is with our mental issues. Well, you know, he just like that for the day, but you see the same thing from that person every single day, right? And we don't understand what is the cause and why does this person act that way? How many guys got some folks around you, they know they got some unusual behavior that you're looking at? You know, how many guys be around some lying folks too? You know, if I ask you a question, I start looking at folks' behavior and I see some unusual movement, it is probable they're telling you a lie. If I ask somebody a question, right, and I see their eyes go up and to the right, it is probable they're going to give you an untruthful answer. Like if I ask you a question, you sitting down in your chair, you come and grab some water, you pick it up, you put it back down, right? It is probable you'll get an unusual or untruthful answer. Like I just watch people's body language, and sometimes I could tell there's something going on with that person. And every now and then when I have a close relationship, I'll mention what I see, but they'll just say, oh, I just made a mistake. I didn't mean to say what I said. But there's a deeper problem there. And the question is, what's the cause of why that person acts that way? You guys know I was giving this presentation one day. I was in front of about 500 people, and I'm real respectful to folks. And there was like this old lady that was sitting in the corner, and she was just looking at me. And I started looking at her, and I started to turn away because she was looking too hard. But then when I looked back at her, she said, so I walked over to her. I leaned down, and she said, how your friend doing? Y'all didn't catch that one, did you? She's talking about the man in the story. She thought the man really got his man parts. Did y'all think that? Oh, I was lying to y'all. That was a lie. I was just trying to make a point. I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm going to keep it to myself. But one of the things that I do is that I take people that maybe had mental challenges, physical challenges, and they've overcome those challenges, and they're able to help people. and I put them on big stages so that they can help people like us to become better. How many of you in this room, you have a story where you went through some things and you figured out through somebody else how to get through it? Raise your hand. Right? How many of you would like to help people become better based on your own personal story? If you do, I got a gift for you. On this stage, I got $1,000 gifts right here. There's about 20 of them. Come and take it. If you like a book, I've written a book called Effective Leadership, The Antidote of Corporate Dysfunction. You can come up and get it right now. Yeah. Yeah. The tickets are right here. I believe I got 20 of them. And you guys can just come see me wherever you see me. I'll have a conversation with you as we have something that helps changes people's lives on big stages. That's what we do. But I want to leave you with this. Whatever challenge that you have in life, whatever that challenge is, I want you to really think hard and identify what is the root cause of that problem and address that root cause. That is my advice to all of you today. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, sir. Awesome. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I know I was not the only one who didn't catch. I was like, God, the parts? He lost the parts?
Yes.
Tough decision. Guess you want to live to see another day. Choose to let something go. That's what they say. All right, so thank you. My dad joke. Only got one applause back in the corner. So we're at that time now where we take a lot of information. All right, we've had a lot of movement. We heard a lot of motivation, some stories that have touched you, stories that may have inspired you, thoughts that may have opened you up. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to just, again, be different. So I applaud you all for that commitment of coming here and learning something to be different. Now we're going to shift gears over into our breakout section. Right, this is the fun part. Now these breakout sections, I'm going to take with the arm just a moment here. But the breakout sessions are where you can go a little bit deeper into the conversation. Because for the most part, it's almost been a one-directional kind of thing. You guys are participating with us, but we're throwing a lot of information at you, a lot of possibilities at you. And it's hard for you to actually to interact. And remember the third part of the experience I told you guys about? What was that third part of the way to live life, to have an experience? To live it yourself. So when we go to the breakout rooms, that's going to be your opportunity in a smaller setting to actually start to move some of this, put some of these ideas into practice, start to open up a bit more as trained professionals, okay? So I'm going to walk through real quick who are going to be in the, who's going to lead these sessions, and we're going to let you know how to get there. So one sec, where's the... All right, there we go. All right, so the first person who's gonna lead one of these breakout sessions is gonna be Sherry Ann Best. Now, Sherry Ann Best is a licensed clinical social worker. She's a trauma therapist, a clinical supervisor with over 20 years of experience in the mental health care space. And as I'm reading out your bio, please come up to the front of the stage, please, so they know who you are. Sherry Ann, wherever you are, please come to the front of the stage. She is the owner of the Broad Hollow Psychotherapy Long Island Group private practice. She's a certified EMDR and trauma conscious yoga. Sherry Ann draws on frameworks like NARM, IFS, and I should have read all these little acronyms in here before I put this in here. Someone set me up for failure. And the polyvagal theory. She speaks at the intersection of trauma, healing, and the systematic barriers facing marginalized communities, offering presentations that are clinically rigorous and transformative. Sherry Ann, if you are here, she might already be in her room. Okay, thank you for confirming that. Our next facilitator in the breakout session will be Fred Moss. He's known as the Undoctor. Now, Fred Moss, MD, is also known as is a board-certified psychiatrist with over 40 years of clinical experience, the founder of the Welcome to Humanity, Dr. Moss shifted his focus from traditional psychiatry toward the communication, creativity, and authentic human connection as core pathways to healing. He is the author of the Creative 8 and Find Your True Voice, and the creator of the True Voice and Creative 8 methodologies. He speaks nationally, advocating that healing begins by remembering what is human. I have two more here, but we're reading these bios because we want you to understand the caliber of people who are guiding you. These aren't people authors. These are not only local, not only nationally renowned, world-renowned professionals. All right, you guys get the best of the best. That ticket price you paid or the sponsorship you got, you are getting the best of the best to be in this room, so do take advantage. So two more, we have Macy Alicia. She's a licensed psychotherapist. She's a relationship trauma expert and the founder of the One Accord Consulting. She integrates emotional intelligence, relationship psychology, and organizational culture to help individuals and leaders rebuild trust and navigate complex relational dynamics. Drawing on her therapy and corporate leadership background, Macy helps organizations address team conflict and high turnover by strengthening trust, accountability, and psychological safety in the workplace. All right, that's Macy. Last one. You guys are in for a treat. Maribel Rodriguez. What do I have to say? It'd be like Shelly. Maribel Rodriguez is a licensed mental health counselor, decorated Air Force combat veteran, and the founder of DBT Orlando. Drawing from her diverse background, she provides specialized support for individuals navigating depression, anxiety, and personal disorders. Maribel integrates advanced dialectical behavior therapy, TBT, and other modalities to empower clients, including foster youth, veterans, and survivors of cultural or religious trauma to achieve lasting healing and emotional resilience. Family, have your attention. Everyone stop with your phones and stop just the side chatter for a second. I need everyone's attention here. If you haven't heard the through line to all of this, we can't do the work for you. So understand that when you go into this room, this is your time. This is your place to take up space. This is your time to be heard. This is your time to be compassionate to yourself. All these stigmas about what we should do, what it should look like, that's out the window. If you haven't seen it figured out now, like this is the spot where we get to be. And so as you go into the breakout rooms, we made a commitment this morning to play a bigger game. We made a commitment this morning to opening up to new possibilities, to meeting a stranger, meeting someone different. Spoiler alert, that stranger is you. That person you don't really know yet. That person that feels a bit awkward that you're running towards, you're having your arms open, outstretched to that person. You are welcoming them to you, encourage them to you. You get to do that right now. So give yourself permission to go through a process. Give yourself permission to go home new, go home revitalized, rejuvenated, evolve, however you want to frame it for yourself, because again, I can't choose it for you. You get the gift of choosing that. So if you're ready to give yourself permission, say permission, permission. Good, good, good. So a little bit of logistics here. Everyone with wherever your wristband is, raise that hand in the air that has a wristband. And wave it like just don't care. Okay. So if you have whatever color wristband you have, look at it. Make sure you have the colors. I'm gonna give you a room assignments in just a moment, all right? And as I give the colors, we're gonna do the blues in the corner. So if you have a blue wristband, walk in that corner for me right now, please. You have a blue wristband, this back corner. Blue wristbands, get up, get up, get up, get up. And make your way to that back corner. Yeah, go ahead and gather your stuff, gather your belongings, because we'll be out of this room for a couple hours. So gather your belongings. If anything valuable, you can leave your bags, but take your phone, anything like that. We'll be out here for a little bit. Go in the back corner, please. If you have an orange wristband, go in the other corner. Orange wristbands, you're going to be in this other back corner. If you're looking in the back of the room, to the right. Who is the blue leader? Who's taking all the blues to the room? Speaker for the blue is, I don't have that information on here, I don't think, who the blue speaker is. If you are a yellow wristband, just right here over to the right side, all the yellow wristbands over here to the right side. If you have a yellow wristband, over here to the right of the room, to the right side. And finally, of course, not least, we have the red wristbands over here to the left side of the room, in front of the body butter and the credit union. Like when it gets all quiet, you guys have to intermingle with other people. Make some friends. It's all family here today. Yeah, so just another in the back left over here, we have the blues. Back right, we have orange. On the side, we have yellow. On this side, we have red. Yep, trauma and addiction. Yep, okay. Yeah. We have the colors. So who's the people? Who's the group taking them out? Yeah, the blues are going now, right? Okay. So yellow stress management. Who's taking yellow stress management? If you're yellows over here, please look at the door. Wave your hand. Yellows come this way towards the stage. Yellows come towards the stage. Yep. You have your escort, your private escort. Take your belongings, expensive belongings. Yep, all the reds. Reds right here. Relationship success. Who's taking the reds to their private room?
Tanya, the red. You'll take the red. Yes. Red.
Okay, reds hang tight right there. So we still need. What about orange? What about thought management? Yep. Who's taking them? Okay, perfect. Reds, come to the stage. Come up here, please. Yes. If you are red wristbands, come towards the stage. Follow my voice, Reds. Yes. You're red? Okay, this way. And then finally for the oranges.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, the Kango. Yep, keep on heading out. Perfect. Very good, very good. Look at these excited faces, nervous faces. Transformation is happening, change is happening.